This is Initiative Zero. I'm Magnum Pi, here with Dark Templar Vahilo, Teku, and Golgotha for part 2 of chapter 3 of the first story in this chronicle called Of Mice and Men. Special thanks to all of our subscribers. We really appreciate you guys. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, give us some comments down below if you like what you hear, and let us know just what it is that you'd love to hear more of, because with every one of our actual play episodes, we tie a kind of a GM tips sort of episode that airs on Monday. So we'll tie things in and help you out learning how to play something other than D&D, which is what this is. This is Chronicles of Darkness, 2nd edition. Last time we kind of had Vinny and Elliot kind of work through some of their goals and progress. And this time we're going to jump. It is now a Monday. We're going to start, I think, with Grayson Bridger. Yeah, how we doing, Golgi?
I'm doing good. Yep.
Cool. So, so there you are. You're in your office, and there is there's a knock at your door. What time of day would you think you would be at? It's Monday.
Monday. Okay. I'm gonna say fairly early. I'm gonna say about 10:30.
Okay, cool. So it'll be shortly after your department meeting for the department that you're in there. There's a light knock at your door, and
Okay. Come on in. The door's open.
Okay, door opens up, and standing there is a tall, thin fellow. He's kind of dressed in professorial shabby. He looks almost caricature-like in how professorial shabby he is. And he says, "Hi there, Dr. Bridger."
Yes. And I think I've seen you before in one of the faculty meetings. I'm sorry, I don't have your name though.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Ian Blueford. We haven't yet met. I've been away for most of the time you've been here, but I'm also in the department there. Just wanted to introduce myself, and I'm kind of curious about what happened at the library.
Well, as in the meantime, I'd walked over and shook his hand.
Yeah.
So as he's asking, I go, well, it's a strange thing, and I sit on my desk, kind of casually. Go, so, so you know about Mr. Kwan, his disappearance, right?
Quay?
Yeah, or sorry, Quay. Yes,
yeah.
Mr. Quay. You know about his disappearance, right?
Well, I've heard. Yeah, there's been rumors about because he was a bit of a benefactor, was he not?
He was funding our department, certainly, and of course, his fiance is Samantha. I mean, one of our colleagues. So the police had come to talk to me specifically about a book that apparently Mr. Quay was looking for, or at least his father maybe was looking for. I knew nothing about it, but I was talking to the curator of the museum and apparently there was a big dispute there. The book was no longer held at the university or the museum. It was now being held at the library. And I talked to the curator about maybe possibly seeing it. It was a Saturday, and I thought, well, I might as well go over there. I mean, I could have access. I went in and talked to a nice young man about seeing it. He let me in. I was waiting, and he came back, and the book was missing. We spent time trying to find it. There was, it was a bizarre situation. Oh, I almost forgot. Before, when I was alone in the room, the reading room, waiting for the book to be brought to me, one of the custodians came to me and asked, said, "Are you? Why are you here?" Or something to that effect. And I said, "Oh, well, just waiting for a book." He kind of leaned over and says, "I got books for you." And I said, "Well, I'm looking for this book specifically." And I showed him the serial number. I said, "Oh, that one's missing." And sure enough, it was. So it's a little bit suspicious of that, but the young man whose name I can't remember. I guess he's one of the librarians there. I assume. I guess this guy's a pretty solid person, but pretty respectable person. But yeah, it was a bizarre situation. The book was I can't even remember the title of the book. It was described to me as having some very weird, strange writing in it that hasn't been deciphered.
And you don't know what it was categorized as. What like my specialization is more in philosophy, like ancient philosophies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I, was it Greek? Was it Phoenician?
As far as I know, it wasn't any language. I thought it was maybe cuneiform because the way it was described, but the curator was very, very insistent that no, it wasn't cuneiform. Um, we
Fascinating.
don't know. Yeah, it's very curious, and
And it was
it
at the
was enough.
Oriental Institute before it was put into the Regenstein.
Yes, it had been, and then it was put into the
How
libraries for
come?
safekeeping.
Yeah, he starts talking. He's to him. He's like, "How come I didn't know about that?" Um, I myself am rather new to the department as well. Not as obviously as new as you, but well, that's very very odd. Um, I wonder what that book was. Um,
So I'm even more curious now than I was before. I was looking at it for it because obviously the police were interested. I thought maybe I again my specialty is Near Eastern history and religion. I do have a pretty strong working knowledge of Sumerian and cuneiform. But yeah,
fascinating.
nothing. They wasn't that. Apparently, again, I don't even know. I didn't even get the chance to see it.
Well, too bad. I was hoping that you knew more about it.
Yeah. What was it? What? How did you learn about it? I mean,
Well,
you obviously.
just from the information that we heard at the meeting, the
Oh, right.
department
Of
meeting, when
course.
they
Yes.
just kind
Yes.
of
Yes.
informed us there. I talked to the
Yes.
department
When
chair
books get.
there, and he told me that you
Yeah.
were actually present
Yeah.
for it. So I figured I
Yeah.
would
When
introduce
books.
myself and find out some more.
Yeah.
But
When books start going missing, I guess that is a pretty big deal.
well,
It's.
you heard
I
about
keep
the
thinking.
other books that went missing prior.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Which is one of the reasons why this was placed in this in the library for safekeeping.
Hmm.
I worry about. I mean, you've heard some of the going ons in European libraries where pages are being taken and put on the black market. I'm always concerned about that happening.
Hmm. Yes. Well, I mean, Chicago does have quite the collection of artifacts.
It does.
Yeah, even the university itself, but also the public libraries. Um, the information that the public library has on the city itself is fascinating, but
Yeah.
certainly not our
I,
areas of interest. Um,
yeah. When I was
but
in grad school, I used to joke with my father that the Necronomicon was in the museum here or the
oh
library here.
well, not anymore. The gate incantation of Rishkagal, that's about as Necronomicon as you can get. But he
Exactly.
kind of pushes his glasses back up on his nose there. He's like, anyway, good to meet you, Dr. Bridger. If you find out, if you hear any more about it, I'd love to see this book if it ever pops up or if you find any more information. But I'm going to do my own digging as well. But
Yeah, absolutely. I'll stay in touch with you. Maybe we'll share any research that we're able to come across.
yeah, anything that I happen to find.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do the
Anyway,
same.
thank you. Again, good to meet you.
Good to meet you as well. Can I get your your number so I can reach you?
Sure. Yeah, he just writes down. He's like,
Yeah.
that's my office number, and you can pretty well find me there most of the time.
Sure, and I'll give him my card.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Excellent. Nice
And
to meet you.
oh, excuse me. He says as he's leaving the door. Right, and he kind of even gives a little
Oh,
bit of a bow, and the man walks. He walks past somebody. The man comes around into the open door of your office. There, an older Oriental man, probably Chinese,
mm-hmm.
wearing a suit. You are Dr. Bridger.
I am. Yes.
Closes the door behind him.
And you are, sir?
My name is Richard Quay.
Oh,
And we cut to Christopher Sloan. Hello, Christopher Sloan.
Hello.
What's Christopher doing?
Today's Monday.
It is Monday.
I'd probably be back at work.
Okay. Anything before work, or just pick up right at work?
Well, I would have probably had some discussions with the police over the theft of the book.
Yeah, that would have been Saturday, pretty much. Sunday, they pretty well took over.
Yeah. Again, having tried to review my notes of my my meetings with Albert and everything I had taken from that, just trying to piece something together. I know that I didn't have a chance to get together with him for a final meeting, but I should be able to cobble enough of a piece together, and that would have been, the remnants of my weekend, Saturday evening and Sunday.
Okay.
And then, back to the grind with the specific intent of finding Stephen.
Okay. Well, yeah, you can pretty well beeline to Stephen's office, I guess, his custodial office downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the minute you give yourself a bit of a break from the desk, you head down that way. And he's rummaging around in the office there, or the closet, or storage area, or whatever, custodial area.
And I'll kind of give a knock on my way in, and
he like jumps, right? He's like, whoa, right?
Yep.
Turns around again, one eye looking at you, the other eye definitely not.
Yep.
Hand's a little shaky. Hey there,
I'll say,
Chris.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Well, okay.
We had a busy weekend.
Yeah, you made a mess.
Yep. I had a question for you.
Uh-huh.
That professor that came by looking for the book,
Uh-huh.
he said that you had mentioned to him that you'd be able to help him find a book that he was looking for, and you might have known that book was missing before we did.
Which book?
The one that went missing.
That I knew it was missing before he knew it was missing?
Yeah, you indicated to him that it might already be gone.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
I remember talking to him about the book.
Yeah. So, how did you know it was missing?
It wasn't there.
Had you been working in that part of the library?
Well, yeah, I had to go in. Ductwork was messed up.
Okay, so tell me, like, explain it to me. What was going on with the ductwork? Because I noticed that one of the vent covers was just off. It was basically not connected. What were you working on?
Oh, he kind of gives a little bit of a smile, and he turns around and bends down and grabs something off of his cart, and turns around, and he's holding a rather large dead rat by the tail. This one.
Oh yeah. And while you were on the hunt for that, you noticed the book was missing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, next time.
There was a spot in the shelf where there was no book.
Next time you notice that there's something missing, just do me a favor and let me know.
Well, I thought somebody had it.
I suppose that's fair enough. Can I try and get a read on whether or not he's trying to pull a fast one here?
Oh, sure. You're gonna do.
Because don't get me wrong, this makes sense, but a lot of this is
convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. What do you want to use to determine this sort of stuff?
I mean, we're using a pretty. This is a pretty civil conversation. I have a specialization in lies for empathy.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
So that and maybe...
yeah, wits is what you would roll with that, right? Because you're trying to notice
Okay.
something.
Yeah, wits and
And
empathy with a specialization.
yeah, yeah. And so
Any modifiers I should know about?
it's just you're rolling against each other. So
Okay.
there's his roll.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this guy, he's twitchy. He's got weird body language, and he's just you don't trust this guy at all. Like there's no,
Yeah.
you know, he's just he happens to have a dead rat. Right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens,
A dead rat in a
and
convenience
he kind of
story.
smiles a little bit out of the corner of his mouth when he holds the rat, right?
Yeah.
And he, he's got all the right answers, but it just doesn't fit, right? Like something
It ain't
doesn't
tracking.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we know. It's not great. And I'll ask him, did we have any inside companies come in and check out these vents? Because the vent I stuck my head in happened to be abnormally clean as far as air vents go. Like this thing, if my memory serves, was just about spotless.
I had to go in and set the trap.
And were you brushing everything down as you went?
It's kind of small.
Yeah, but I don't think you're so big as to be hitting all the sides here. It's not like the shower in a cruise liner, You just soap the one wall, get in there, and just kind of spin.
And he's
Still
like,
one of the better jokes I heard on that cruise line.
and he just says, "Hey, well, I didn't pay much attention to the inside of an air duct. What do you do
And again,
in the air duct?"
Again, hey man, I'm just moving through the library, stocking the shelves, keeping an eye on things, and I noticed one of the covers was a bit loose, so I stuck my head in and just happened to notice how clean it was. And then, not too long after, the cover's back on it, and we're missing a book. And
Yeah.
I don't know if the police have found anything yet, but I mean, that all just kind of stacks up funny in my mind.
He kind of just drops the rat, and it just like hits the base of his cart with kind of like a thud. It's just dead rat.
Yeah, is it like a fresh dead rat, or is it just like totally petrified from
No, it's
10
not
years ago
petrified.
dead rat?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, okay, because that would be real.
It's not dehydrated, no. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well, not yet.
yeah.
Man's got to eat
Jeez.
jerky.
And he kind of leans forward. What's your composure?
That's a great question. Like against smells or against just in general?
Your
3.
social attribute.
3.
Okay. And he says, "Why don't you just leave the ducts to me?" Well, he's got a success on an intimidation check there.
Ooh. So what am I using to counter that?
It was countered by your composure, so it penalized
Oh.
him. Yeah. So
See.
and yeah.
Scary stinky fuck.
And he just kind of, his face gets really just kind of relaxed, where he normally kind of has a grin sort of thing. He doesn't quite bring that second eye to focus on you, but it's like, you just leave the ducts to me, you worry about the books.
I'll say, well, fair enough. But there was nobody else crawling around in those ducts, was there? Because, again, I don't know if it was just bending down too fast, or I could have sworn I saw something in there that just didn't make any sense. like, does that vent go up? Or does it stay on this floor? And I'll pretty clearly give him a description of the duct I'm talking about here.
Like, it's got to run to the furnace, and it's got a vent.
Yeah, but is it part of a stack? Does it go up or down to the basement where the furnace is?
It's a return. It's probably part of a whole line of returns drawing air from all the different floors.
Okay.
Bringing air back to the furnace.
Yeah.
You know much about furnaces?
That's a great question. Hang on. No.
How about ductwork?
No, well, that's why I figured I'd check with the expert.
I bet you know books.
Well, that'd be a start.
See, let me worry about the ducts. You worry about the books.
Well, this is the problem. If they're using ducts to get to the books, that's why I'm here asking questions.
He doesn't seem to be shaking as much as he was before. That eye is still not looking at you. But
Yeah. Rather keep it that way. I don't like how we're starting to put ourselves together here.
yeah.
Well, that's interesting. What'd you make of that professor? I mean, it's a little heavy on the tweed, but otherwise.
Another guy that wants a book.
Oh, undeniably true, I suppose.
I do not wear tweed.
On the wind. That same wind is transiting between games and settings and Jesus.
And Jesus. That's pretty good.
Anyway, there's Christianity in here. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
He bends down, picks up the dead rat.
yeah.
Now he's just kind of holding it by the back, right? Four legs sticking up, head flopped back between his forefinger and thumb.
Well, paints a pretty picture, I suppose. Okay, well, nice talking to you, I suppose.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you happen to spot any other, I don't know, missing books, just give me a shout, because I'm not a fan of this.
Sure
Not
thing.
a good precedent to set.
You find any other problems with the ductwork, you let me know.
Yeah, you think we're having a family of rats move in or what?
A lot of rats.
Yeah, I'm watching that. I'm watching that answer. Yeah. Interesting. All right, and I'll kind of give him the nod and back out of his probably stinky office.
Oh yeah, it doesn't smell very nice at all.
Yeah.
It smells. It's a combination of the ode to Stephen and a lot of cleaners and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and the rat's probably helping.
Well, yeah, it doesn't smell too bad, the rat, but definitely something that needs to be disposed of.
Or jerkied, one or the other.
Well, man's got to eat.
Speaking of good smells. Is there a security department which covers this?
Yeah, there's security. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I just give them a quick visit as well?
Sure.
Just whoever happens to be around.
Yeah, you head up to security desk. Back upstairs.
Yeah. Do I
Chris.
know?
Yeah, you know each other. You all.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Hey, Glenn, how you doing?
Oh well, another Monday.
Yeah.
Sips his coffee.
Did you happen to get any correspondence from the police about that missing book over the weekend?
No, well, whoever did it, they're pretty certain used the ducts.
Yeah, that's
Really hard. It must have been a hell of a climb, but to get from
That's
the
what I
main
wanted-
floor to the top floor. But they basically just said could be that the person tossed into the ductwork and picked it up from the bottom, or
yeah.
maybe had access to it some other way. But
Well, see, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. And I'll stick my head back out in the hallway and make sure
Yeah.
Steve-O's not, I don't know, skulking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good word for Uncle Fester. Skulking would be a good word. And then I'll kind of step in and quietly close the door. Now, before I do this, and this is just to you as the GM here, Glenn, he's been here a couple of years.
Yeah, he's been here longer than you.
Yeah, is he a reliable sort? He does his job. He's
From
not.
what you can tell, both of his eyes look the same way. And,
well, that's not a barometer for anything.
Yeah, but yeah, he seems to be on the level.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be overly enthusiastic about,
It's the library.
Yeah.
If he was, I'd be more worried about it.
It's like that librarian in Seinfeld.
Being the only person in the scene right now that is overly enthusiastic about their job. Yeah, I would be worried if there was another. So I'll just say, well, I went by on Saturday before we noticed the book was missing, and the vent was open, and I stuck my head in it, and it was very clean as far as vents go. And the professor who was trying to check the book out said that Stephen, the janitor, came up and started a conversation and indicated that he knew the book was missing before we did. And then when we got back to the vent, it was all closed up again.
Well, Steve's been catching rats left, right, and center around here.
Yeah, fair enough. It's just the timing of it is a little too, we'll say, convenient. And again, I don't want to start throwing accusations around, but this seems like the kind of information that might be pertinent from a security sort of perspective.
Well, I don't know. Steve strike you as the kind of mastermind of book stealing?
You don't have to be smart to want to make money.
I guess, but...
And if you got full access to a place and you know the place inside and out and you're expected to be there, it gets a whole lot easier, doesn't it? I mean, if you or I were to look to steal something, they probably wouldn't notice for weeks, if not months. If at all.
Well, yeah, I guess. But,
again, I'm just trying to work this out in my head because I really don't like how this shook out. And for something so odd, I mean, an untranslated manuscript, sort of a unique piece that just doesn't really have a home, just a lone puzzle piece, right?
Well, I guess. But I mean, Steve's been working here for years. He's been a little sick lately, I think. But, but I don't know if he'd want to risk his job over a book nobody, I don't know, book nobody wants or knows about or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'd have to pay him a hell of a lot of money, then why would he come back to work?
I mean, again, we'd be going down various rabbit holes of speculation here, but
yeah.
No, I figured I'd just mention it. And sorry, I had another question, just unrelated to everything else. I had a friend ask me about the place, and you've been here longer than I have. You got any good ghost stories about this place? And I know it's an odd question, but it came up, and I didn't really have an answer. Is this place known to be, like, does it have a bit of a history, of hauntings or anything like that?
The Regenstein? No, man. The only claim to fame this library's got is that it's built on the old slag field.
Oh yeah.
And underneath that, in the squash courts is where Fermi built his first nuclear reactor. There's a little plaque.
Gonna kind of.
We're marking it's not actually under the library proper. It's out in the courtyard there, but that's marks the spot. There, people say that the campus is all poisonous because radiation poisoning and stuff like that from it. But nah. My buddy Phil over, we got ourselves a Geiger counter once and walked around. There's no radiation up there.
Not get out, really, eh?
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. Steve was just using, like, manual traps, right? Nothing, no chemicals or powders or, I don't know, hallucinogens or anything like that, right?
I don't know. I'd imagine he probably poisoned him. Can't imagine he's got, like, a big spike or something like that. He kind of laughs, right?
Huh.
And I mean,
Right.
with the rat you saw, it didn't look like it was injured.
Aha.
So
And just in my own head, I'm sitting here going, so you're spreading poison, and you've said you're spreading a poison in this area, but this area is totally clean. It's probably just me reading too much into it, or probably not. Anyway, enough monologuing. All right, well, thanks, Glenn. Sorry to bug you. Just,
oh, no problem, man.
quiet library, time to think and all that.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yep. All right, well, I'll see you around.
Yep, for sure.
Then, because I literally cannot help myself, I'll take a cruise past that vent again, because I am still almost fixated on it.
Yeah, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Covers attached.
The screw heads, are they a little worn down?
Yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
little groove where you can fit your key in again.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the neighborhood, this part of the library on a Monday?
Well, there could be, but you can also wait till nobody is.
You know what? That's probably a better idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll find a couple of loose books and start resorting them. And yeah, as I do that, I'll probably start rolling the name Bridger through my head, because he's probably going to be getting a phone call at some point.
Okay. Cool. So you occupy yourself till the coast is clear?
Well, depending on the amount of time I've got, I'd probably try and reach out to the good professor and just kind of touch base, see if he had any word on the state of the book and
Cool.
whether or not it had been found.
All right. Good segue. We jump back to Grayson Bridger. So there you are. A man who
Hello.
calls himself Richard Quay stands in front of you.
Hello, Mr. Quay. I'm a friend of your son's fiance. I'm very sorry that you and your family are going through all this. It must be very challenging. I do hope he's found safely.
I hear that there was a book missing.
Yes, it was a
And
book
the police
that
talked to you as well.
they did indeed. Yes, I went to see if I could find it because I was curious about it myself, and it was unfortunately was missing.
Did you find it?
No, it's disappeared. You were. Could you tell me anything about it?
I don't know much about it, but I think my son was looking for it.
He was. I was talking to the custodian or the curator at the museum, and I guess he came in for a meeting about it. It was, sorry to say, it was a pretty acrimonious meeting, apparently.
But where would the book have gone?
Well, when I was in the museum, when I was in the library, the librarian I was working with, he talked about a vent. Apparently, somebody must have gone to the vents to get it.
I talked with Professor Harrier at the Oriental Institute. She would not help me find this book. But you...
Do you know? Yes.
You knew my son.
Yes, we knew each other fairly well through his fiance, Samantha, of course.
I worry that something might have happened to him.
Well,
And
what
it has to do with him acquiring this book.
Well, again, I know nothing about this book. Even when the police came to talk to me, I couldn't even answer anything remotely close to any of the questions they were asking. I thought of maybe seeing the book, I might get some ideas about what your son was looking for, but and what the importance of it was. But like I said, it was missing. I know you said that your son was looking for it, and you would know more about it clearly, but do you know anything about this book? Like anything at all? Apparently the writing is, it hasn't been translated.
Dr. Bridger, do you accept that universities and museums may have acquired things that should have been left with the people they acquired them from?
Sadly, I do, unfortunately. I know the British Museum is notorious, but we are not lily white in that either.
Well, my family has clients all over the world that are very interested in a variety of different things. I believe this book was acquired by the university in a very disrespectful manner to the people who originally owned the book. I tried to get that book back for them. Professor Harrier would not have any part of it. I believe my son also tried to get it back. And something happened to him because of that.
That's very troubling.
You know my son's fiancée, Samantha.
Yes.
You know that she is a good person. My son was a good person, is a good person.
Is a good person.
I need to know if this is the book. Can you find out what that book was for me?
I will absolutely do everything I can. I'm still trying to find information about it. I can't imagine what we must be going through.
You are a good person, Dr. Bridger. Unlike your colleague at Oriental Institute, you have a heart. I don't want the book. I just want to know what it is.
I will do what I can. You have my promise. You have my word.
Thank you. Thank you. If you do manage to locate the book, I would be interested in knowing what it is.
Certainly.
I think we can help your department. And he just kind of turns around and heads for the door.
Mr. Quay, without going into detail, I mean, I'm sure your clients would like to remain anonymous. Do you know who might have been interested in this book that might provide some leads?
Just the people who it was taken from.
And those people are, do they have a name or anything like that? Or, I mean, is that something that you'd rather not say?
My clients need to keep their anonymity, their distance, because they have other things that will also want to be taken from them.
I see.
What about you, Dr. Bridger? Is there something that you need? You're a man that researches into these things.
In terms of just learning about this book, I'm not even sure where to begin. I might go back to the library actually and talk to the young man I was dealing with before. maybe he's learned some more. Maybe the police were able to talk. Or maybe he's able to give some leads to the police. I don't know. It's a mystery.
Mm-hmm. It is a very big mystery. You can contact me at the Chinatown Bazaar or at Yin Ren Kui, our importing business.
Okay, I'll take whatever card he has or whatever he's. Yeah. Okay, and I'll give him my card, of course, because apparently I'm giving out cards now. Now, while I'm doing this, by the way, I'm listening to him, and of course I'm being sympathetic and empathetic.
Yeah.
And I mean that. I mean, I'm sure my character really does empathize with him. But the secretiveness is something that would trouble me potentially. So can I kind of roll for any ulterior motives or anything like that?
Oh yeah, you can do like a wits plus subterfuge if you're trying to see if he's trying to, hide something in that regard.
Sure, let's try that. I'm gonna willpower this as well.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be penalized by his composure.
Yeah.
Which is a 4. So.
Oh.
He's got a rather high composure.
I was gonna say. Okay, so I'm gonna take my. Well, by the way, it has me as 6 willpower here. I should only have 5.
Then just spend 2 points. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just gave everybody 1 for sleep, but you hadn't spent 1, so you should be down
okay.
over there. Yeah.
Okay, and roll them bones. Nope. I trust him implicitly.
Yeah, well, he's not. He just seems, if anything, he seems to be very collected considering all of the. He's definitely putting on a strong face, right? He's trying not to let you can tell that he's not letting his feelings show, right?
Yeah. Okay.
You would chalk that more up to the disappearance of his son than.
Okay. Well, Mr. Quay, I will do everything I can do. What I can do, I will try to do.
Thank you. Thank you. And he leaves. At that point, your phone rings.
Jesus, God, it's a busy day already.
Stepping it up.
Hey, it's usually not this busy. Like, usually I'm here, I have a tea, and... Okay, I'll pick up the phone. Hello?
There's Christopher Sloan on the line for you.
Oh, what a happy coincidence. Yes, but I'm through.
There you are.
Hello, Mr. Sloan.
Hi, Professor Bridger?
Yes. It's like I said, it was very coincidental. I was just thinking about you, and I was going to come over to the library to talk to you about the investigation. If there's anything that maybe the police told you.
They didn't really pass anything on to me specifically, but I wanted to have a chat with you about some things I found here about Steven specifically.
Yes, absolutely. I've got classes in about half an hour that I have to be ready for, but I'm available at 4:30. Would you like to meet for dinner, perhaps?
This might be a bit of an odd request, but how about we meet at the library? We'll start here.
Oh, absolutely.
And, if I could impose, could you bring a screwdriver? And I'm going to assume it's, and again, this is the GM, a Phillips. I would have looked at the screw head like I did.
He'll bring one of the ones that you can switch.
The appropriate,
It'll be good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You want me to bring a Phillips head?
Yeah, I mean, and glance around and make sure I'm not being listened in on. The supposition is that this book was removed through the vents,
Yes.
and I don't think that's necessarily the whole story. So I'd like to take a look in there for myself.
Sure. I'll see if I have I'll see if I have a screwdriver. I'm sure there's one kicking around the office somewhere. So yeah, I'll meet you there at 4:30.
Oh, I'll be here.
Excellent.
And we can head out from there, I suppose.
That sounds like a plan. I will be there at 4:30. I'm usually very prompt, so should be there very quickly.
Okay, I'll make myself available at the front desk.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Zoom, 4:30 arrives.
Yep.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Sloan.
Professor, how are you?
It's been a busy day. I presume I'm not going to bring it out, but I said I brought what you asked me to bring.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent.
Just this way.
Okay.
And I'll keep an eye out for Steve, both because I'm skittish and because he's gross.
You're keeping a nose open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'm going to say it's a happy coincidence you called me. I was going to come. I just spoke to Mr. Quay, Richard Quay. He came in to talk about.
Mr. Quay Senior.
Yes, he actually asked me about. He apparently found out I was asking about the book as well, and was curious about it. He thinks that might be the linchpin in terms of finding his son. His son was obviously looking for this book as well.
I'm sorry, Albert was looking for this book as well.
Yes. Yeah, it's been bizarre. Mr. Quay, Richard, said that one of the reasons why he's looking for the book is that apparently he thinks, well, not him, but his son was looking for it, is that he thinks that unfortunately it may have been procured in an unethical manner. And sad reality is, I mean, there's some truth to this. We've seen this in a number of museums and libraries. I don't know if it's true entirely. I think he's
okay. I'm sorry. You're a little ahead of. You're a little ahead of me in the retelling of the story.
Oh, sorry.
Mr. Quay Sr.
Yes.
has suggested that Mr. Quay Jr., and I'm going to very intentionally lower my voice, suspected that this book came into the possession of the library unethically.
Well, originally the museum, but then the library as well. Not the. I don't think he's casting aspersions on the people who work here today, but
absolutely not. I'm just trying to understand. I'm just trying to follow along.
Right. Yes. So he thinks that might be the case, and that where the book might be as I said, the linchpin in terms of discovering what happened to his son.
And the fact that the Quays are a family who have built a rather expensive empire on importing and exporting seems entirely divorced from our current situation to you?
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm sure that they profit from repatriating books, and I'm sure that there's probably a bit of, I'll say potential, not obviously self-interest, but I imagine that there's some rationalization here. But the sad reality is, I mean, he's not entirely wrong. I mean,
oh, absolutely not. But do you think that he or his son might have had a hand, directly or indirectly, in this theft?
What I think is irrelevant. I don't know either way. All I know is that his fiancée, Samantha Quay, well, not Quay, she's not Quay yet, she knew that he was interested in this book.
She's not Quay yet? That's pretty good. Sorry.
These vents.
Listening. This is good.
No wonder Steve's in there cleaning out these vents. A wicked echo in this bitch. There's an echo from like 3 weeks from now.
Oh my god. That's funny, but it ruined my train of thought. But sorry, okay, no, I'm back. No, focus. She thought that the book was important enough to talk to me about it, which is why I came to look for it, because I knew nothing about it. Even though the police had asked me about it, again, I couldn't even answer any of the questions. And his father obviously think there's something to it. So whether I think or not, they obviously do.
Okay. That's interesting. And it's just interesting because they didn't bother at any point to let the library know about this potential.
Well, Albert Quay, he did go to the museum, and he had a very acrimonious, let's say, discussion with the curator there. He didn't get what he wanted. Or sorry, was it Richard? Sorry, Richard. Sorry, I thought it was Albert. Yeah, Richard. Mr. Quay Senior had this very acrimonious discussion. He was not pleased with the outcome, probably because he was refused, and which I understand as well. I mean, just because a person tells you something was absconded or stolen or obtained in an ethical manner doesn't mean that it necessarily was. But Mr. Quay obviously believes that it is. For him, this is his reality.
And your interests in this book are strictly academic.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, I it's a mystery, and the fact that the police were asking me about that book, a book I have no knowledge about, it kind of put a bug in my ear, I guess, and I'm curious about it now. I'd be interested in seeing it, because maybe, given my background, given my knowledge base, I might be able to help with this. I don't know if I can. This might be a complete red herring. But his fiance is a very good friend of mine, and I know that she is very distressed, and whatever the father's motives are, I believe his distress is genuine as well. And if there's anything I could do to potentially help, I'd like to.
Okay, well, I appreciate your
I did it
candor.
all for the nookie. Sorry.
Oh my God.
I don't know anything about Nookie yet. And he hasn't bought me dinner yet, so there's no Nookie. You stop that.
I'm flattered, but no.
Okay. Just again, just so I get a better understanding of our position here. And I assume this vent isn't like 3 annexes over and that we've gotten there.
No, you could be standing in front of it.
Oh, okay.
As you need to be. Or...
Yeah. And I'll just kind of take a gander, and when we've got some clear space, I'll kind of look at him as he's speaking and look at the vent, and then look back at him, and then look back at the vent. Start running an Old Spice commercial.
Sorry, you want me to open that?
No. And I'll hold my hand out.
Okay, I'll give him the screwdriver.
Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Sure. But I know we discussed that it was probably taken to the vents. Are we going to look in there?
And I will sort of lean in and say, yes, I'm just going to have a look. There's a couple things I'm checking. I don't at all trust Stephen in the role that he played. And that's why I
whisper, is that the custodian?
Oh, I thought you said chameleon. Yeah, he's the janitor. And then I'll just quickly hunker down and take another gander. Maybe I don't know. Did phones have flashlights in 1786 or whatever year we're in, 2005?
Well,
Wow.
I don't remember.
6 of 1. Basically, a lot of people would just kind of use the light from the screen to illuminate things back then, right? Some phones may have had a flash for the camera, but
not my phone.
Yeah,
not on this salary. Okay, well, we'll try the screen method.
All right, you're crawling in the vent.
Yep.
I'll follow him. I go,
Ooh, well, you're in a prime position for a front row seat.
Jesus.
You're meeting my best side.
I
For reference, I did wear my brown pants.
fantastic. I could have brought a flashlight too.
I'll be honest.
Had I known we were going to do this.
Yes, but this has been. You will find with me that a lot of my ideas are at best half-baked, and this is sort of the unhappy byproduct.
Oh,
I feel you're half-baked right now.
Yeah.
No. I actually can't game while baked. It's really bad. I've tried it like once before, and it was awful. So many numbers.
All right, so you guys are crawling in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would have worn a different clothing if I knew we were going to do this.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I appreciate your support, but I didn't exactly expect you to just get right in here.
Well, I mean, I assumed if you wanted me to bring the screwdriver that, you wanted me to.
I love that you're having this conversation in the vent.
Yeah,
Yes,
to my ass. Yeah. Please speak into the boom mic.
Oh my
It's hanging from above.
All right. So as you crawl along, using the light from your phone to light the way,
Yeah.
what you do notice is that a fair ways in, and you're not super stealthy, right? Like, so it's kind of like, sheet metal sounds like dum dum.
Yeah.
And I'm also talking while we're doing
That's
this.
right,
So.
echoey, all that stuff. You do come to a spot where the metal on the top of the vent is different from the metal on the sides and the floor. It seems to be rusted.
Disproportionately to everything else.
Oh yeah.
And about how far down did I spot the random set of legs?
You're pretty far in, but it'd be difficult for you to tell exactly how far.
Yeah.
It was
We're
far.
in.
It was fairly far in as well, where you saw the
So
person
we're
standing in the vent. Yeah,
we're in the neighborhood.
quite possibly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will direct Professor Bridger's attention.
Bridger, not Bridgers.
You're right, because grammatically, I will direct Professor Bridger attention. Makes a whole lot more sense.
He's got you there. No.
I pity your student. All of your student.
I'm a history professor, not an English professor. Fuck you. I wasn't listening to. Go to hell.
All 300 of your student, I pity.
Okay. So.
Well, wait, no, he doesn't do possessive. All 300, not of your student.
Oh, just carry
all
on,
300
for Christ's sake.
Anyway.
Okay.
Can I? And I'm gonna just consult my sheet here because I can already tell you that my crafts is 0, and look at that, my crafts is 0. I'm literally gonna start poking it with the screwdriver.
What do you want to do? I can help you build a pool.
Okay, so initially I just wanted to assess if this is like a quick patch job, if this comes free immediately, if it's punctured right away.
Like you want to push on it, sort of thing. Like
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Pushing on it. It's a little bit loose, but it doesn't just lift right off. Like you might have to put a little bit more oomph into it.
Yeah. So could I attempt, and I've done this in real life and ended up with a permanent scar off it. So for everyone listening, I don't recommend this. But could I use the screwdriver as a leveraging tool to try and pry it off?
Yeah, you could. But I would suggest just give it a little bit more of a push.
Oh,
It's
okay.
almost like pushing on it. There's definitely something on top of it that might be holding it
Oh.
down.
Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, we'll just get under it and we'll try lifting. Like we'll use my whole body here and back of my neck and a shoulder, see if I can lift it up.
Okay, cool.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to ask. So, I mean, aside from professional, curiosity or professional, the book stolen not under your watch. That's the way you know what I mean. Not
Within my purview.
Yeah, precisely. You seem to have a particularly, interest in this book too. What's your interest? You know mine. What's your interest?
Well, the fact that it's a theft
Of
makes
course,
it implicitly interesting,
But
and
he's
but
not a
but
criminal.
yeah.
I
But-
am.
but we're crawling through vents to find it. That's not usually something that happens.
Have you met the police department in this city?
Well, usually, police.
This is in
police
Gotham.
calls.
Yeah, but
It is Chicago.
there
And I did interview Bridger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
there are much bigger issues with the city than this one, and I don't know that it would have quite been given the attention it might have otherwise. Plus, as you said, this is a quintessential puzzle. I mean, the book itself is like a random puzzle piece from a box forgotten to time. There's nothing to reference. There's no larger picture to draw apart from what it itself offers, which itself wasn't much to this point.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that that was stolen is part of a much bigger story, and it is that story that interests me.
Oh, fair enough. It is fascinating. I mean, it is curious. I'd like to find out.
I mean, the fact that it's now attached to Albert Quay. Sorry, I moonlight as a writer, I guess. And this sort of a story doesn't typically just fall into your lap.
Oh, that's a fair point.
This seems like the kind of thing that I may wish to pay more attention to.
Oh, excellent.
Hence, and then with that, I'll give a shove and see what we get.
Okay, cool. Give me a strength plus athletics or strength plus stamina, whichever is higher.
Oh God, it's probably going to be strength and stamina. And this character is not Travis Scott. This is not that.
And you can put your will into it, right? Don't forget.
I am going to do that because otherwise it's just going to be sad. Skinny nerd versus very pliable metal sheet. Any negatives you want to offer?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. The green
You're
crystal
just
is the
trying to
willpower.
stand up hard against a floor of
Yeah, and I could.
sheet metal.
I don't try and downplay this. This is going to be a feat of strength. Is what this is going to be.
Here it comes.
Yeah. Oh, we made it.
Successes. So you do succeed, and something kind of rolls off of the sheet metal over top of you as you push it up, and it just kind of, when it does that, it kind of slides over to the side. And holding your phone up, you look in there, and first of all, you realize that it seems to be somewhat lit. But what you're looking into is a lot of crisscrossed kind of wood supports with metal bracing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Standard fare for a duct of this caliber.
Well, no, this looks more like you're kind of underneath a set of bleachers.
Well, that's confusing.
Mm-hmm. And the, I don't know, this seems to be kind of strange sounds carrying, almost echoing. And the atmosphere is kind of charged, feels kind of like an approaching storm.
So, given that I work here and have worked here for a period of time, I would have a rough map of this place in my mind. And I know where I started, and I know the direction I went, and I know roughly how long I've been scooting along here. Would I know within a rough frame of reference where in the building we were and in what room or space we've sort of gotten to?
Yeah, you wouldn't be underneath a set of bleachers. You would be, if you would be probably under a floor somewhere.
Hey, would you mind just getting and just real quick, there's no powders, there's no residue, nothing indicating that Steven's been down here putting hallucinogenic poison down here?
Not that you could see, but then again, you were going by phone light.
Cool. Would you mind just getting a look up there and telling me what you see?
Yes, absolutely.
So you shuffle around. Clunk, 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 clunk.
Yeah.
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 Look in and go.
And it's a series of like crisscrossed wood supports with metal and stuff like that. It rises quite high. It's rather dim, but it's lit. And it seems to extend to the right and to the left a certain ways.
Are we near a gymnasium? Are we next to a gymnasium? It looks like bleachers here.
This shouldn't be here.
And both of you can give me a breaking point check.
Oh, good.
Okay, what do we have to roll for that?
You're going to roll resolve plus composure.
Resolve
boy.
plus composure.
And then we'll wrap things up after this roll, I think. Because my timer is not running anymore.
Oh,
Whoa. That's the...
sorry, I forgot.
So
Sorry, I got confused anyways there.
Both of you have an integrity of 7 or 6?
7.
And,
Let's find out. 7.
Okay, so you'll both get a +1 there.
Okay.
Yeah, you are encountering the supernatural or something jarring, I guess. Witnessing.
How did you land on subterfuge?
I just still clicked from an earlier thing. I forgot I clicked it.
So, so it'll just again be. This is a little bit weirder than before, so we'll say -2. So it'll be a total -1.
Resolve composure -1.
Yeah.
Even better.
I do have that thing where I've got, where is it? Eye for the strange.
That just allows you to identify the supernatural when you encounter it, which...
Oh, it's okay.
Cool.
Boom.
So, well, you definitely resolved your spooked there. Both of you maintain your integrity. You can either be spooked, guilty, or shaken. So either you feel bad because you're basically going where you're not supposed to, you're shaken because this disturbs you, or you're spooked, which basically is kind of that strange kind of car accident, can't look away sort of thing.
Oh, I'm definitely spooked.
Oh,
I'm fascinated by this, but it also is like, ooh, this is weird.
That's it. I'm stuck between spooked and... I'd probably go spooked.
Cool. We'll leave the spooked thing there. I'm going to give you a beat for resolving the other one. And you each get a beat for your breaking point. All right. And that's what we're going to call it for this particular chapter. So thank you guys for following us along again. We're slowly bringing things together. It's getting a little bit deeper. Again, if you like what you see or hear, let us know. Hit the like button. We really appreciate those likes. It lets us know. And hit subscribe if you think what we do here is worth the subscription. We appreciate that as well. Hit the bell if you want to be notified. You can join us in the chat below. You can join us on our Discord. We'd be happy to have you. Again, tune in on Monday for some GM tips associated with this particular part of this chapter. And we'll see you guys next time. And remember, if you can't roll high, you can always hang with us at Initiative 0.